Yep. He's got to go back and check the video. All right, so now for this right here, it's going to be trap rule. Now, a trap rule is you're going to basically do a trapezoid for every single one of these. Now, it sounds crazy, but the last one that we did with the Riemann sum, the left hand, right hand, those are all rectangles, right?
Yes.
So it's basically, length times width, right?
Yes.
For each one of those rectangles. Now for trapezoid actually has a diagonal. It's not a rectangle, it's going to be a diagonal. So I'm going to show you guys what this is going to look like here. Okay, so now from what I'm doing here is same function. This is from 1 to 2. So 1 is here, and to 2 is right here. So if I'm going to do this the different ways I've already done it, now the first way is I'm going to do, what's the first one say? Left hand, right?
Yes.
Left hand, and it says 2 equal subdivisions, right? So if it's 2 equal subdivisions, what's that mean?
Half.
Not half, what's my n?
Your n?
N equals 2, right?
Yeah.
That's important. So n is going to be equal to. So this is going to be n equals 2, but then it's always going to be b minus a, right? Divided by n. So, yep, there we get that. So b minus a, so it's going to be 2 minus 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. Okay? So if I'm doing a left hand, so I'm going to do the left hand right here in red. So left hand in red. Okay, there's my left hand, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So my interval for this one is going to be, okay, so it's going to be my 1/2 out front times my left hand, so it's going to be f of what? 1 plus f of 3/2. Or the 1.5, which is on there. So what's that come out to be? It's like, so it's going to be 1 plus 2/3. So
It's 5/6. No, it's 5. I already divided it.
oh, you already did 5/6?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir.
If that's what 23 is.
Yeah, so right here, because this turns in reciprocal, it's 2/3 plus 3/3, 5/3 times half is 5/6. You're right.
I'm sorry, we'll never disrespect you.
Okay, so we get 5/6. Now let's do it right hand. So I'm going to do right hand in a different color. So right hand
You want a pen?
means that I'm actually going to do it from the right hand side. So now it's going to go from here this way, right? And over here this way. So using that, my right hand is going to be, again, my delta x is the same, so it's 1/2. So f of
Wait, what?
3/2.
3/2
What is that in
plus f of 2. So this is 1/2, and that is 2/3.
7/12.
7/12.
7/12 all together?
Yeah.
Okay. So equals 7/12. Now, on this case right here, let's take a look at the over and under estimation.
The right is.
So, which one is the over?
Left hand.
The red. So the left hand's going to be an overestimation here, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at the slope of the graph, if it's going down, a left hand's going to be an overestimation. Okay? Yeah. So that's going to be an over, and then the right hand, this is going to be an underestimation. Now let's clear this off, and so I'm gonna clear off what I have up there right now, and I'm gonna do the midpoint. So the midpoint That one gets purple. So midpoint is, I still have my ends here. I still have my endpoints. My delta x is still the same.
It's a little tricky.
Right? So now it's going to be midpoint. So now I'm going to put my spot right there in the middle. That's where I'm going to cross the line. So it's slightly there. This one also. So midpoint's there. So if you notice, it's going to be a little bit over and a little bit under, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now my delta x is still the same, but finding the value of my function is slightly different. So my delta x is still my 1/2. Now, to find that value, it's going to be the f of midpoint. To find the midpoint, I have to use the same intervals, right?
Yes.
So, how do we find the midpoint? How do we find it? So it's going to be,
Average of the distance between the 2 points.
yes, average of the two. How do I get the average? Add the two numbers,
Then divide by.
and divide by 2, right? So now, in my first case, it's between what numbers? 1 and 3/2, right?
Correct.
So it's going to be 1 plus 3 over 2 divided by 2. Yes?
Yes.
That's how we get the midpoint there.
5/4.
Plus,
You did that off the dome?
now, the next interval here,
3/2 plus.
so it's going to be 3/2 plus 2 over 2.
That one is gonna be 7/4.
Off the dome?
Okay.
24/35.
Is the final answer?
That's what I got.
24/35.
Yeah.
He calculated it.
Okay.
You say it's going to be,
Damn cheat. Hey, you know there's sections for the rest of that going through?
now, trop rule is going to do something a little bit different than what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Well, you got 25.
So that's already-
You got 25/35.
You said 24/35.
Oh, okay, never mind.
He was about to go off. Brad was like this.
All right, is everyone okay with what I got here?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're actually going to hit the trap on this. So for this now, I'm going to go up and I'm going to draw trapezoids. So a trapezoid,
Is only one side gonna be diagonal? Huh?
you'll see in a second. So now a trapezoid, so what I'm going to do here is, this is going to be a trapezoid. Say, I have a trapezoid here, right?
Yeah.
This is a trapezoid, so I have my left side, my right side, and this is my delta x, right? Okay? So, I'm going to go through and I'm going to do it longhand, then we're going to actually abbreviate it by factoring out the common information. Okay? So let's take a look at this. So if I'm going to draw this, I know that I'm going to have from 1, same number of intervals. But now this time, it's connecting the endpoints.
I like that one.
So, do you think that this is going to be closer to the exact answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot closer to the exact answer than my midpoint or my left hand or right hand. So this is actually trying to match the slope of the graph, but it's getting closer to the exact. Closer to what the exact would be. So if I want to like precision my approximation, I would use trapezoid to actually try and find the closer to the real answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do this right here. So now I know that this is right here. So now for this one right here, my formula area of a regular trapezoid is 1/2 h b1 plus b2, right?
Yeah.
In this case, I'm going to put these where they go. This is my b1, this is my b2, this is my h.
H would be equal to 1/2.
Okay, so there's my delta x, right? So that's what I was actually finding out earlier.
Oh, then we just plug in the tape. Oh.
So watch this. So now, this is the formula for a trapezoid using geometry.
Isn't that what we did?
Now, I'm going to actually plug in my information that I have for here. So it's 1/2 h. So it's going to be 1/2. My h value is what? It would be 1/2, right? So that's my 1/2 because that's my, what I found earlier. That was my b minus a divided by n, right? Okay. now, too soon for this. Okay, right there.
We're not.
All right. B1. What would be my B1 here?
F of 1.
F of 1. F of 1.
I kind of just guessed.
Yeah.
Plus f of 1/2. Or
Okay. Plus f of
3/5.
the next one. So we're doing, yes. No, we're not doing it all the way to the end.
3 halves.
I just want the first one, right? It's 3 halves,
Three
right?
halves. I meant to say 3 halves. My fault. My fault. My brain is.
Does that make sense?
Ronnie came in my
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is my first trapezoid.
times.
Okay?
Aren't you
Plus
doing-
my second trapezoid, which is my 1/2, and then times my height again, which is 1/2.
The area? The area is 1/2.
And now, what does the second
wait,
trapezoid
oh.
start at?
3 halves.
3 halves. F of 3 halves plus f of
2.
2.
We could take out.
So, now we're going to make a formula out of what we just did. This is the whole reason why I wrote it all out. Because there's certain things that actually, they repeat. It's always going to repeat, no matter how many numbers I have out of this.
H is there.
Okay, so I know I'm always going to have the 1/2 and I'm always going to have the h value out here, right?
How are you gonna-
So I could take those out of both, can I?
You can also take out the f of 3 halves.
Yes, I can. I could take out an f of 3 halves, right?
Exactly.
But I'm not going to. You'll see why. Okay?
That's a little tricky.
Half of-
So, now, I'm going to take this out. So it's going to be 1/2. And it's going to be my 1/2 again, which is my h value. Now, which ones do not repeat?
F of 1 and F of 2.
So my beginning and my end do not repeat, do they?
No.
Okay. So it's going to be f of 1 plus f of 2 plus, how many of those other ones do I have?
2.
I have 2 of them, right? So it's 2 times the other ones that are in the middle. The endpoints go A and B here, A and B here, and then everything else is 2 times. Because if I had like 8 as my n equals 8, I'd have a whole bunch of these in the middle, wouldn't I?
Oh, yeah, that's
But I don't want to write them all out. So I'm trying to show you guys how to actually, do this with the least amount of work by making a formula out of this. So it's 2 times my f of 3 halves.
I need to compute that for you, too.
So I was able to shrink it down and get a formula out of this. So someone calculate this for me, please.
Right. On
So
it.
then if it repeats, then you just put the 2.
Wait,
Whatever
two
number.
over here.
Whatever the n equals?
How
Or-
many times they repeat?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like the 2F.
So you're only going to have 2 of them. So if we had my n value was 8, I would have a bunch of other values right here that were the same. I'd have a bunch of these right here. I'm always going to have only one of the beginning and one of the end. And it's 2 times everything else in the middle.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to show you the formula here. I want you guys to calculate this first.
17 over 24.
17 over 24?
1738.
1724?
That doesn't look wrong.
I know it does. (17/24). So the actual formula that we're going to use here is 1/2 h, right?
Right?
But my h, how did I get my h?
Delta.
B minus.
Your x-axis?
So that was what? B minus a over
Oh, that's it.
n, right? Okay, that's how I got that one. That was my delta. That's how far apart my x's are, right? That's how the spacing is, the width of each one. Now,
Your number?
times f of a plus f of b plus 2 times,
F of
yeah, so it's going to be f of, it's like a plus 1?
Hmm?
A plus A.
No, it's a plus n, that's what it is. So it's a plus n, and it's going to be dot, dot, dot. Because you always start this off. Whenever we have my values, that's what I did at the very beginning with my interval, right? because we didn't start off at 0. You go back up here. We didn't start off at 0, did we?
No.
We started here. So when we found my delta, right? So the b minus a divided by 2, that was 1/2, wasn't it? We didn't start over here at 1/2. We started from my a value adding 1/2, right? So therefore it's my a plus n, whatever this one was, right?
Yeah.
My delta x.
Don't
You know what? Let me rewrite that as delta x instead.
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
1/2 delta x.
A plus my delta x.
That makes more sense. Because the n was kind
You still sicko?
of see.
No, it's just hot in here.
It is hot.
Yeah. All right. So does that make sense? So when we actually do bigger spaces and like more of these, this becomes a lot more important because you don't want to actually have to calculate each one of those. All right. So let's take a look at right over here. So they actually wrote it slightly different.
Whoa.
They said y sub 0, y sub 1, y sub 2. Okay. So they wrote it different. Okay, so for this one right here, use the trapezoid rule with 4 equal subdivisions over this. Okay? Over the closed interval from 0 to 1. So if we're using the formula like I just did, what am I going to start off with?
Okay, so a b minus a.
So it's going to be 1/2 by b minus a is
3 minus 0, so 3/2.
okay. Use the trap. Close interval from there to there.
Plus 4 equals, so it's 3 over 4.
Okay, so for this one, I'm only doing a closed interval from here to here though.
Oh,
Yeah.
But this is only including certain numbers.
So b minus a is
So
1.
1/3.
So it's going to be 1 minus 0 over how many? 4?
Oh, my bad, 1/4.
Okay, and then from right here,
Because this is 4 subdivisions.
so it's going to be f of
F of
0.
f of 0,
plus
f of
1.
1 plus 2 times f of, so this is going to be 1/4, right? So it's going to be, if I'm starting with here, so it's going to be 1/4, right? And just keep going from there.
up until the 1.
2 times f of 1/4.
Yeah. So it's f of 1/4
1/2.
f of
1/2.
1/2 plus f of
3/4.
3/4.
We're adding them right on the inside.
yes, the adding the insides.
Oh, they needed that half.
Okay. So I have all my parts in here in between that.
I'll start calculating. Damn, the computer looks so bright. I mean, the calculator looks so bright.
Because after 3/4 you get back to 1.
You get 1, and we already did my 1 here, right?
Because you just put the beginning and the end, and then everything in between. And up here,
Oh, I do not like that graph.
Yeah, you don't want to graph it. You just want to approximate
just
it.
graph it from bars.
But yeah, that's not graph.
Yeah, you can do it for the vars.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, so now what mode's your calculator got to be in if you're going to just graph it for vars?
Radians.
Radian. Is it in radian?
It's in degree. Haha.
Yes, my students last hour working in degrees.
You know what? Maybe that's a sign that I should have calculated.
Because it's a geometry class before this class.
Well, tell them they can suck you.
I think I'm going deaf.
But you won't.
But I'll just use my commander rating.
How do we
It's
change
not
the
even that
rest?
serious.
Okay, change it. Let me see.
I'm not about that life.
I'm just waiting for somebody else to do it.
Like, can you for you to do it?
All right,
Oh,
so
I got it, Pacho, I got it.
Sine.
No.
Edison's on his way to doing it.
So am
On my
I.
way?
So am I. Wait, hold on. I actually am though.
No.
Maybe
Like,
Sine.
Because
the
No,
x
that's
close, and that's squared, right? Like that?
Let me get it fast when you quadro.
It's
Say
a
yes.
race now.
Sine t squared.
There we go. And remember, you're putting an X for it because you're not going to put T for the.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So now, and then I go back to this, and I do what? So it's 1/2.
times 1/4.
1 over 2. And I could actually set up the whole thing, so it should be, what's that, 1 minus 0?
Yeah, over 4.
Over 4. And then I can close that. Then I can open it, and then it's going to be
Got it.
No.
Got it.
F1
I got
of
it too.
0.
Do you get 0.3
0.
15975?
Wait, I forgot to add number 1.
plus F of, what was the other one? 1
Yeah.
plus 2 times F of, what was the other one? 1/4, right?
Yeah.
I got 0.315975360.
We got 0.315975.
Oh, I have 360.
But I did it first. Yes, I did, sir. That is all that matters. Hey, Brian, honestly,
There we
all
go.
that matters is Pacha that it matters.
There, and I think that's it. All right. So now,
What
so
the heck?
what's wrong with mine?
Yours is in degrees.
There you go.
I only got 0.277.
Did you?
0.31.
What the heck?
What'd you get? Oh, wait.
Oh, the whole thing closed. My program, my emulator closed. That's oh,
Radians is not supported.
I know.
Radians 2B.
Okay. Anyway,
Went wrong.
all right. Hey, what'd you guys get?
0.315975.
3608.
Okay, sit down.
360.
Now, on the AP exam, how many
To the
decimal
fourth.
points?
That should be 315.
How many decimal points?
2
To the
or
10,000.
3?
To the fourth. Four decimal points.
I would have done
31598.
right there.
The 10.
Okay.
8.
5.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have to look at this 7.
316.
So it's going to be approximately 0.3160.
Ah,
Wrong.
I'm gonna get that wrong.
I gotta remember that.
All right.
It'd be wrong if we put 5.9.
Yeah.
Would it be wrong if we put 3.159?
Because you're rounding wrong.
Yeah, you're rounding wrong.
If I put
It's actually calculated as the category is called precision. So you would always have to round it to the correct spot.
that is some booty.
Okay.
This is for the free response, right?
Yeah. Free response.
Oh,
So you're gonna have stuff like this.
Well, the bubble.
Let's take a look at the next one.
They calculate how much of the circle you bubbled.
Okay, listen up. Hey, shut up and pay attention.
Shy.
A town wants to drain and fill a small swamp below. Swamp averages 5 feet deep. Okay, how many cubic yards of dirt to take to fill the area? So, if you notice, we're looking at a cross section of this.
Okay.
So, if we're talking about volume, you find the area of this, and all this is the average of how deep?
5.
5 feet. So you're going to actually, this is going to be the area times the depth.
Area times 5.
Yes, the area times 5 will give you your volume there.
Okay.
Okay, so if we're going to do this, and we're going to use, okay, about how many? So we're going to do this as this right here. So I'm going to do this as it's a trapezoid. So let's go ahead, and it's going to be here, right? So I want you guys calculate it. Write me out. So you guys are not going to vars this one. You actually have values.
Shy.
Okay. So
Right, you wanna take
1/2,
over?
and then b minus a, which is
Okay. What is the b minus a here?
146 minus 30.
Nope. Try again.
6, so
20.
20. It says it right here. Horizontal spacing is 20.
Dang it.
So that's going to be
Oh,
your
so we already
b minus
had
a divided by n, right?
Yeah, we already had it.
So that's going to be your 20.
20 is the double.
Yeah, 20 is there, your delta x there.
So f of no, it's not even that.
So the-
It's not f of because you have values here, right?
Right. So what would that be? So the
Some of
minus
those
one
are
Is it
included
146?
twice.
So it'd be f of the first value.
146.
Yes.
So just 146, not f of.
That's kind of tricky.
Oh yes, just one break.
146.
Okay, let me calculate this.
Wait. Yeah.
Look, 13.
Plus 13 plus
146
2 of everything setting.
plus.
yes.
Okay.
No.
Times 1.2. 36 plus 46.
I'm already hoping Jake jumps on.
Okay, I think. Is it? Yes, I got it.
Can I double check or double check?
2, because these are gonna get included twice.
Why can't this be included?
Because those, that's the end.
This is.
13
That
is
one-
the
that
end
one's
and
on the
146 is
inside.
the end. So my 146 and 13. Here's my A and there's my B.
Oh.
I got 80-30.
I wish I had.
How?
Oh wait, times 5.
I don't know. I just want area right now.
Okay, I got 8,030.
8,030.
And I plugged in what you had.
I also plugged in what you
Wait, why 2 now? Explain to me the 2.
And what are my units here?
I got
Wait.
8,030.
Feet squared.
Very good. Feet squared.
Why the 2?
Is that 2?
Yeah.
Because these. Because like, think of it like this. Okay, so we have all of these. Like, let's say this is A.
Okay.
So this is right here is A.
Edison,
For this
let me show you something real quick. So see this right here? Isn't this piece right here?
It's on 2 trapezoids.
Yes, it's part of this one. It's part of that trapezoid and that trapezoid, right? Yeah, so that's why it's got to be included twice. So it's in that one and that one. And same as this one. This one's part of that one and that one.
That's not this.
That one, that one. That one, that one.
Oh no.
That one, that one. And my last one here, okay, is by itself.
No, I see
There's
it.
only it's only in one trapezoid.
I saw it.
Okay, so did everyone get 80-30 for my area?
Yeah, no, I did. It was
Okay.
a parenthesis problem.
Okay, so now
Yes.
cubic
times-
yards of dirt. So if these are in feet squared, multiply this by 5, right?
Yeah. which
Multiply
is
that so you get what?
40,150.
And this is
Okay,
feet.
This is a bird's eye
cube,
view of the
right?
Swamp, and the swamp is 5 feet deep.
Now, what is the units they're asking for?
How many cubic yards of dirt?
Cubic yards. Okay, so here, let me move this over. 40150. So 40150 feet cube over 1. Now I'm going to do a conversion here, and since this is cubic, how many times do I have to do my conversion? If I want to cancel out feet, how many times do I have to do it?
3.
3. Okay. So that's probably like the biggest thing that a lot of people never
so
learn
we
in
have to-
geometry.
So we have to do the yards to feet 3 times? So we can cancel the feet
Yeah.
all 3 times?
Yeah. To cancel out a cubic, I need to do it 3 times.
Yeah.
To cancel out an area, I'd have to do it twice, right? Because the area is square. So it's a 2-dimensional, so I'd have to do it twice. You good?
Estimate to math.
So this right here, so now, listen, if I want to cancel out feet, where does feet have to go in my fraction?
Bottom.
So feet here and yard here.
Split geometry.
So I know 1 yard is
3.
3 feet, right? And to cancel out 3 of them, because this will only cancel out 1, I need to do this 3 times, right?
Why she use cube though?
It would be 1 over 27. That's what we're getting to, but I'm trying to show you how it builds to that. So, if I were to condense this down, all this right here would be 27 feet cubed, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're multiplying your units, will give me my yards cubed.
That makes
So
sense.
I know it's quite simplistic, but a lot of my students in geometry don't never even like consider this when they're doing the unit conversions. So if it's cubed, you do it 3 times. If it's area, you would do it twice. Okay, so go ahead and do that. What do we get?
1,480.
What is it?
1,487.03.
1,487 and this is
You just got the one of the last
I got 0.4.
Oh yeah, 0.4.
0.4?
Yeah, I didn't know how far you were gonna go.
Okay, it's fine. 0.4. We'll go with that one. There we go.
So now it's yours.
Está muy fácil.
Yes.
That's my cubic yards, right?
Oh, I can see.
All right. Did I get that test?
No.
Oh, can I have it, please? And I gotta get you these notes right up here.
I know. We got one more. We got one more example.
One more. Okay. Thank you.
If the line x equals p divides the region of example 1 into region of equal area 1 divided p.
If a line x equals k divides the region in example 1 into two regions of equal area, what would the value of k be? So, think of it like this. So, I have my trapezoid again. I'm going to sketch what I have here, right? So, it was something like this, right?
Yes.
Something like
Okay,
that.
so somewhere in between here, so think about it. If I want to find a value, it's going to be right about here somewhere. Where this area right here is going to equal this area over here, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, so it's somewhere where you divide the swamp and the two areas are equal?
It's not the swamp, it's example 1.
Oh, okay.
It was my f of
Sine.
x equals 1 over x.
It could be a swamp. It didn't say.
It is a sine.
From, what was that, from 1 to 2?
Yeah.
Now, I want you guys to try this. So using that formula that you have, you want to set this one here equal to this one, right? Okay, you have to find some value of x. So your interval would be from, think about your intervals right here. Your interval would be from 1
To k.
to k,
And then from k to 2.
and I want these two to be equal.
She said.
Okay, I need to have them equal, right?
Yeah.
So I want you guys to go through and play with this one because this one is going to be on the AP exam. And I want, if I show you guys like the formula for this and like the steps, you guys won't actually learn anything from that. You guys have to try and problem solve for this one. Okay, because you guys can go through and actually find it. Okay, you have a formula, you have a value of k somewhere here where this area is going to equal this area. And I will tell you, there is a problem like this on the AP exam. I can't remember if it was in the free response last year. All right, so I'm going to stop this video right here because you guys are going to work on this.